Hi everyone, and welcome to a new Mew Mew Blog Thingy. Today we will be continuing this multi-parter, now comparing the anime with Chapter 2 of the manga. Where we last left off, the first episode of the anime ends where Chapter 2 of the manga begins, with Keiichiro introducing himself and Ryo telling her to come with them. The main difference being that Ichigo was still transformed in the manga, while in the anime, Ichigo instinctively knows how to change back on her own. The entire scene in the manga where Ichigo is in the car, and her misunderstanding Ryo and Keiichiro's discussion of cooking recipes as them wanting to experiment on her, was not shown in the anime. Instead, episode 2 of the anime begins with Ichigo in front of the cafe, noting its cute design. Then she gets more amazed at the interior design, and then Keiichiro asks her to change into her Cafe Mew Mew uniform, and then is told that she has to work there. In the manga, this doesn't happen until the beginning of Chapter 3, where Ryo practically kidnaps her before she gets a chance to go to Aoyama's house, and then Ryo tells her to take her clothes off without much explanation, causing Ichigo to get angry. Yeah, Ryo's really touchy-feely in the manga. After she compliments on how cute the dress is, she is immediately told to get to work. She's confused at first, but Keiichiro explains that since the cafe attracts a lot of girls, they have a better chance of finding her teammates if she works undercover. At first she doesn't agree with it, especially after finding out that Minto's going to work with her, but is easily persuaded when she finds out that she'll earn 1,000 yen an hour. In the anime, Ryo only compliments the dress, which gets Ichigo mad. Ichigo then asks what's going on. Now we go back to Chapter 2 of the manga. Ryo's statement that he's a rich high school student and Keiichiro saying that he's the cafe manager are both in the anime and manga, as is their explanation of the aliens, chimera animas, the red data animals, and telling Ichigo that she has 4 teammates. Ichigo finding out about her Mew mark is a bit different. In the anime, Ryo mentions that each Mew Mew will have a mark, while in the manga he suddenly goes up to Ichigo and pulls up her skirt, causing her to panic and tries to keep him away until he manages to show her the mark and tells her to look for similar marks to find the others. Did I mention that Ryo was more touchy-feely in the manga? This justifiably results in Ichigo knocking Ryo upside the head. Keiichiro then suggests that it's time for Ichigo to go home, but she comments that she can't go home as a Mew Mew, and they tell her just to think of returning to normal. The reason they didn't tell her earlier was that they wanted to make sure that she would agree to come with them to the cafe in the first place. Ryo then walks her home and is only acting nice to her because she's quote-unquote their ultimate weapon, which ticks her off and she goes home alone. Ryo then talks to himself saying that he forgot to tell Ichigo something important but decides that she'll figure it out herself. Since the anime establishes that Ichigo already knows how to change back on her own, this wasn't shown. Instead, it replaces it with the scene of Deep Blue and Quiche in the alien dimension, which only happens once in the first volume on the manga right before Quiche's reveal. Then there's the scene which Minto gives Ichigo the handkerchief, the latter already being shown in Chapter 1. Now things start to get a little out of order. Ichigo meets up with Aoyama at the school the next day. In the anime, Ichigo notices the mark on his neck and gets a little optimistic, thinking that he might be a potential teammate, until Aoyama says that it's a bruise that he got from kendo practice. Ichigo then drops her stuff by accident and Aoyama helps her. She suspects that he got the bruise due to the chimera attack, but was made to forget about it. She then gets nervous when he touches her hand and her cat ears and tail pop out, causing a scene. She then scrambles to get her things and leaves before Aoyama can see what's going on. She then has a rant at Ryo for not telling her, but has to start working and realizes just how busy Cafe Mew Mew really is. In the manga, Ichigo sees Aoyama and he apologizes while assuming that he passed out the other day due to the heat, confirming that he was made to forget what happened. He then asks Ichigo if she could come with him to return Minto's handkerchief, since he took it from Ichigo in the manga. At first she doesn't want to due to Minto's attitude, but then realizes that she could be a Mew Mew and agrees to go. While walking there, Ichigo thinks about holding Aoyama's hand, which causes her to get nervous and the whole cat ears and tail thing happens. Minto's dog Miki starts barking at Ichigo angrily, which was the exact opposite of the anime where he was really fond of her. Aoyama then gives Minto her handkerchief back and makes small talk while Ichigo searches for a Mew mark. This irritates Minto into being extremely rude to Ichigo and she goes back inside. This was somewhat shown in episode 2, but it was Ichigo searching her house instead, and it happened right before Minto became a Mew Mew. Aoyama thanks Ichigo for coming with him, and she goes nuts after he holds her hand. Masha then comes up, showing a hologram of Ryo, one of the many things that he can do that was never shown in the anime. And Ryo gives Ichigo a ticket to see Minto's ballet recital. He also tells her that her strong emotions trigger her tail and ears to come out, where she complains that he should have told her sooner. In the anime, Ichigo waits outside of the building while Minto has her recital, and decides to give Masha his name, while in the manga she doesn't name him until volume 2. Masha then detects a chimera anima and states that it's near Minto, which causes Ichigo to follow her and goes to her house, using the excuse of returning Minto's handkerchief. This is when the whole house searching and Minto getting angry and rude about her begins. Ichigo leaves the house and Mickey gets fused with a parasite alien and turns into a chimera. In the manga, Ichigo sees the ballet recital and decides to sneak into Minto's dressing room to find out for sure if she's a Mew Mew or not. Minto spots her right away and tells Mickey to chase her away, only to find out that he has suddenly turned into a chimera. The battle is basically the same between the anime and manga. Ichigo has no choice but to transform in front of Minto. Minto tries to talk some sense into Mickey to no avail. Mickey swipes at them, revealing Minto's Mew mark, and Ichigo pleads with Minto to transform. She does, summons her weapon, and both she and Ichigo defeat the chimera together. In the anime, Minto hugs Mickey and the scene cuts to the cafe, revealing Minto in her cafe uniform. In the manga, we don't see her in her uniform until chapter 3, about the same time Ichigo got hers. Ichigo then tells Minto that they're friends now. Minto slaps her hand, saying that while they're teammates, she won't be friends with someone so vulgar, which ticks Ichigo off, and the episode ends with Ichigo screaming while Keiichiro sets up the cafe's menu. In the manga, the scene is basically the same except they're still in Minto's dressing room, and the chapter ends with Ichigo being frustrated while Rio looks on from a tree with Masha. So that was the differences between chapter 2 and the anime. And that'll end today's blog thingy. If there are any Mew Mew topics you want me to talk about, put them in the comments below. Tune in next time where we'll go over chapter 3.
Somebody save me! I'm drowning in a sea of confusion! I'm a dead leaf falling from a tree of procrastination! I'm sinking beneath the murky waters of my own laziness, where the fish of shame will nibble hungrily at my rotting, back to flapping in the breeze of doom and failure! I can't take it anymore! I'm drowning! I can't breathe!